Duck, the Great Western engine, worked hard in the yard at the big station. Sometimes he pulled coaches. Sometimes he pushed freight cars, but whatever the work, Duck got the job done without fuss.
No falsities there. Duck is a no BS tank engine. Rarely do you see him get angry or sad. He's normally very cheery and enjoys doing his work like many of his friends. I know for one, I'm enjoying his motif that's being heard again. Although it's not my favorite rendition. The first one that was played in Season 2 was better. Top Hat was quite satisfied with his work, too. He was so content he offered Duck his own branch line. As the Staples button would say, that was easy. And where was his new branch line, may you ask? Why, the Tidmouth Halt Station, and along the shoreline in the Arlesburg vicinity.
Duck enjoyed exploring every curve and corner of the line. Sea breezes swirled his smoke high into the air, and his green paint glistened in the sunlight. This is just like being on holiday, he puffed.
Well, yeah, when you're not doing any work, you are on holiday, Duck. Obvious much is obvious. With this new role Duck was given, Top Hat also ordered that a new shed be constructed nearby the station. While this was being done, Birdie took care of his passengers. Check out that view, by the way. And I thought the backed-up perspective of Tidmouth Halt Station from before looked nice. Even with the construction all around, the whole backdrop has a real scenic look. The same could also be said for the musical cue overlaying it as well.
Duck pulled the heavy freight cars wherever they were needed. Noise and dust filled the air. Don't worry, whistled Toby. The station's nearly finished. And on time, too, said Duck thankfully.
Now, along with doing all this work, Duck felt responsible for a lot of this. He felt it was unlike any other thing he had done before, which is probably true. Nobody mocked him for getting the job finished. But as hard a worker Duck was, there was one thing he couldn't seem to fix: his constant jibber-jabbering. Throughout the day, Duck talked endlessly about his new role and really started rubbing people the wrong way. Notice Top Hat isn't there? Exactly. He can't take it either. No, not really, I don't know.
Ach, aye, muttered Donald sleepily. I'm Great Western, and I...
Quack, quack, quack.
What?
Ye heard? Quack, quack ye go. Now wheesht and let an engine sleep.
Quack yourself, said Duck indignantly.
He's not wrong, Duck. He definitely could have been a little more respectful about addressing it, but you do tend to drag on about yourself. Just a slight character flaw you gotta work on there. Duck is a good engine, but he obviously hasn't realized that he tends to go on and on and on about himself, and things related to him. If anything, this is a good moment for him to reflect and think about how he can ease up on doing things like that. Or he could just instead play a trick on Donald. That was a 180-degree turn.
Donald says I quack, as if I'd laid an egg. Quack, do you? Pondered his fireman. He whispered something to Duck and his driver. They were going to play a joke on Donald and pay him back for teasing Duck.
Since when is Duck a jokester? That's an odd decision for him to go along with. Duck is a good worker, but a jokester, not so much. Really, all he does is watch the jokesters prank themselves. This could very well become a Gordonism story. I'd be careful, Duck. Being a stuck-up engine has caused a lot of issues in recent memory. The rest of the day, Duck barely said a word, and somehow nobody noticed. I'm shocked, actually. I would think many would be questioning Duck if he wasn't talking. But really, the joke took place later that night while Donald was sleeping, only to find out shortly thereafter.
Next morning, when Donald stopped for water, he found that he had an unexpected passenger aboard. A small white duckling popped out of his water tank.
Now, who's behind this?
Laughed Donald.
Did anyone really think Duck was going to throw a mean joke at Donald? Nah, not really. But the fact that this was his way of getting back at Donald is a strange choice. Thankfully, the duck was an easygoing one and grew attached to Donald and his crew. That's one clean duck, though. Being that a train's cab can be quite dirty, the duck must have feathers made of bleach. Finally, the duck grew tired and hopped off at Tidmouth Halt Station. But that wasn't the end of that, because did anyone really think this news was not going to spread around? Right. Toby and Percy especially couldn't help themselves but tease him about it. The next morning, though, Duck and Donald's crew discovered the bird had left a little gift.
Donald opened a sleepy eye.
Well, 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 ye must have laid it in the night, Duck, all unbeknownst.
You win, Donald. It'd take a clever engine to get the better of you. There's a pond near the duckling station. Here she often swims and welcomes the trains as they pass by. The station master calls her Dilly, but to everyone else, she is always Donald's duck.
Disney name drop. I mean, how could Allcroft & Co. not pass that opportunity? You have a character named Donald, who has a duck, and a friend named Duck. Donald's Duck as the title of this entry is as close as it gets. The story was actually different from what I had expected. Considering I just spoke about how the Gordonism writing formula has been appearing a lot lately, I thought this might possibly turn into one. But I was wrong. What? That never happens. Just kidding. In all honesty, I forgot what was going to happen, mainly because Duck playing a prank on Donald feels rather out of character. Duck's a no bullcrap engine, so to see him causing bullcrap is a mismatch. But then again, the joke was harmless and didn't seem to bother Donald for too long. Duck is just lucky his little plan didn't blow up in his face. Now, as for Donald, it's apparent he could be a touch nicer with his word choice, but he also brings up something for Duck to recognize. There's nothing wrong with emphasizing how significant one's role is, but it's another to keep going on about it. That's something Duck is going to have to confront at some time, whenever that may be. Now for music, we get two musical cues heard before. The first being Duck's, which got much repetition for this entry. That's mostly because it was about Duck. The renditions heard here are good, but for me the first version was better in Season 2. The other cue played was the Viaduct theme, but this time used for the construction of the Tidmouth Halt sheds. For sets, this episode had lots to go around. Tidmouth Sheds, the Tidmouth Goods Station, Arlesburg, and the Farquhar Quarry is seen a number of times. And even though Tidmouth Halt Station is nothing new now, the further zoomed out shot used for the building of the Tidmouth Halt sheds is quite a sight to behold. Now for those new visuals, which include the Farquhar River Bridge and Dilly's Pond. The second I really like more because it takes in so much scenery. It is a beauty. Overall, a simple but enjoyable entry. Next episode is Thomas Gets Bumped. Thanks for watching.